The forest full of singing birds. Lila loved listening. Every morning she pressed her ear to the window to hear the world waking up. A kettle that hummed, a cat that mewed, a far-off bell that rang. One afternoon she heard something new, a soft, looping tune drifting from the trees near her house. It sounded like someone humming and smiling all at once. Curious, she slipped on her little shoes, tucked a pebble and a ribbon into her pocket, and tiptoed toward the green whisper of the forest. The path smelled of moss and warm earth. She felt all kinds of curious in her belly. As Lila walked between tall trunks, the tune grew clearer. Peeps and trills like tiny bells, swoops of melody like ribbon in the breeze. Sunlight threaded through the leaves and dust motes danced like tiny singers. The first bird was a robin with a red chest who hopped down to greet her. He chirped a bright hello that sounded like two quick notes and a giggle. Lila smiled and answered with a soft hum. The robin bobbed and bobbed, pleased to hear her hum back. Around them, other birds rustled nearby, curious too. Deeper in, a bluebird with feathers like the sky opened her voice and poured a long, clear note that shivered like a bell. Lila thought it sounded like someone saying hello in a slow, lovely way. A yellow canary bounced in the branches and sent out quick, twinkling notes that felt like sunshine laughing. The forest seemed to arrange the music like a story. Peeps, then bells, then bright little sparks. A soft rustle revealed a friendly fox tail behind a fern. He peered out with gentle eyes and a small, swaying smile, as if the music made him want to tap a paw. At the heart of the trees stood the old oak, wider than a house and wrapped with little green vines. Its branches spread like a blanket and leaves whispered like old friends. Tucked into a low crook was a tiny golden whistle, tied with a faded ribbon that had once been bright. The robin hopped to the oak and tapped the whistle with his beak. Sometimes, the bird said, the whistle kept a whisper of every song the forest had ever sung. Lila peered and wondered, could a small whistle hold so much music? The birds spoke in trills and peeps about a hush that sometimes visited their wings. Some mornings our songs feel sleepy, Bluebell said, and Sunny chirped that her bright notes would wobble and fall. Lila's brow furrowed. She wanted to help. The robin hopped onto Lila's shoulder as if to say, "We try to remember, but some notes hide." Mr. Fox sat nearer, ears twitching to listen. The old oak rumbled softly, telling Lila that music loved company and sometimes needed a new friend to wake it up. Lila reached out and touched the little golden whistle. It was warm from the day's sun and it tinkled with a tiny note when she moved it. "Try it," the robin encouraged. Lila lifted the whistle and blew softly. A thin silver sound slipped out and dangled in the air like a string of tiny bells. The birds circled, eyes wide like cups drinking the sound. The forest leaned in. The whistle's note was small, but it was the start of something. Lila felt a tiny flutter of bravery. She had made one bright sound. Lila tried another note, and the whistle answered with a kind echo. But as she blew more loudly to help the birds remember, the sounds tangled together. Bell with chirp, bright twinkle with deep hum, and for a moment the forest grew puzzled. A breeze picked up and leaves shivered. A tiny hush slipped between the trees. The birds halted mid-song and looked uncertain. Lila's cheeks grew warm. She hadn't meant to tangle the tunes. She put the whistle down and listened very carefully, wanting to hear how to make the music happy again. Just then, a soft cloud rolled over the sun and the forest held its breath. The robin hopped forward and peeped a tiny, steady note. Bluebell followed with a long bell-like sound, pure and wide. Sunny sprinkled little high notes like pebbles. Lila remembered how each had sounded when she first came in, the robin's quick giggle, Bluebell's slow bell, Sunny's bright twinkles. Her face lit up. "We must help each other sing our own notes," she said. Her voice was small but sure, and it sounded like a lantern turning on. This is the story's bright, joyful moment. Lila led the birds in a little game. She tapped the robin gently and copied his quick two-note chirp. Then she nodded to Bluebell and breathed a slow, bell-like note back. Sunny fluttered, and Lila tried the tiny sparkling sounds. The forest answered back, echoes weaving like ribbons. Mr. Fox pawed a tiny beat on the ground, and leaves danced. Each bird remembered its own song, and when they sang together, their voices braided into something new and glittering. Lila clapped with a laugh. As the music grew, the old oak seemed to hum along. Even the hollow creaked a happy squeak. Birds flew in small loops, and the sound traveled like a ribbon across the treetops. The moonlight pond in the distance flashed little silver ripples as if clapping with water. Lila felt the melody hop into her bones and skip out through her fingertips. She danced a tiny circle, and Mr. Fox joined with a gentle twirl. The whistle, left on its ribbon, chimed every time a bird passed, adding a tiny bell to the harmony. When the sun began to lower, the birds gathered on the old oak's branches like little bright notes pinned against the sky. They thanked Lila in chirps and trills, and the robin hopped onto her little shoulder in thanks. "Come again," Bluebell sang like a promise. Lila tied a tiny ribbon of her own to the whistle's string so it would remember her touch. Mr. Fox kissed her knobby knee with a soft nuzzle. Lila felt sleepy and proud at once. She had helped the forest remember how to sing. On the path home, the trees hummed behind her with new stories tucked in their leaves. Lila hummed back each tune she remembered, and for a while her melody mixed with the far-off last notes of the birds. The pebble in her pocket felt like a tiny drum. She promised to visit again and to bring new songs she found in puddles and on the playground. That night, at her window, the forest's music lulled her. In her dreams, the birds gave her a crown woven of leaves and song, and she wore it while the whole sky sang softly. The next morning, the sun painted her room gold, and a small bright chirp drifted to her window. Lila smiled in her sleep and stretched like a happy cat. Outside, the forest had kept its songs safe. Now they were threads between trees and people who paused to listen. Lila tucked her ribbon into a little book of sounds she kept under her pillow. When she grew up, she would remember how a small child with a pebble and a ribbon helped a whole forest sing again. For now, she dreamed of tunes, and the woods hummed a sleepy, gentle lullaby.